So let's start setting up a Next.js project. You can find all the instructions on that GitHub page, and that is a great place to dive deeper. As you can see there, Next.js in the latest version at the point of time I'm recording this requires React 16, which under the hood introduced some breaking changes and which is the version we use throughout the course. So we're fine, we'll be using that version here too. And now let's install Next.js, this package, with this command. As you see, you also still install React and React DOM. Now to run this, you need an empty project. And here I got one, loaded in my IDE already. The only thing I have in here is a git ignore file because I'll be using git. Now first of all, to be able to run npm commands, we need to put this project under control of npm. You do this by running npm init. Then you are asked a couple of questions, which you can simply answer with yes by just hitting enter. Once you went through all these questions, you get a package.json file, which is used to manage the dependencies. I do talk about creating this file in a bit more detail in the module where we create our own project setup from scratch. Now we can run the command you saw on the GitHub page here, npm install -- save with these three packages, Next, React, and React DOM. Because Next.js is a library building up on React. It gives you extra features, but behind the scenes, or also from a code perspective, what you're going to write, it's still all React. Once this command finished and all these packages are installed in their latest versions, we can go back to that GitHub repository to find more instructions. We should now add this scripts section to package.json. So let's do this. In the package.json file, we actually have a scripts section. We can replace it with the one we just grabbed from our GitHub file here. So scripts should be added like this. With that, we can start using it, and now we have that important file system thing I was talking about. In Next.js, the file system is our main API. We don't use React Router with Next.js to create routes and allow the user to visit /off/user and so on. Instead, we create folders and files to reflect our URLs in the file system. And Next.js, the package, will automatically parse that and use its own internal router to handle all the heavy lifting. Now, along the way, it pre-renders the content we load as pages on the server. It automatically code splits, so lazy loads that, all of that out of the box without us configuring anything. That is why Next is such a great package and could be worth a look in your next project. A lot of stuff is just working out of the box there at the price of having to keep a certain file structure. That file structure is mostly about that pages folder. Let's create it. You create it directly in the root folder next to node modules and the other files here. So there you create a new folder, pages. And in there you now create your JavaScript files, which will be React components, which will hold and export React components. And these file names now define the different paths you have. You can also have a subfolder like auth there, and in there add, for example, user.js. You would reach this file at your domain /auth/user. If you name this index.js, you would reach it at /auth. Let's also add an index.js file under the pages folder. Now we have something like example.com/ and would reach that file, and /auth and would reach that file. Now let's add a component in both. And typically here you use functional components, but of course you can also use stateful ones with the class keywords in case you need to manage state. So let's create a functional one here. I'll name this index page. The name is up to you though. And you know that syntax here, where you could receive props and return something. Now what I'll do is I'll import React from React. So just like you learned it in this course, that doesn't change because we're still using JSX here. Well, not yet, but we'll do so in a second. And I export index page as a default. That's important. You still need to export this, otherwise Next.js can't do anything with that. So now let's simply add some code here, like a div, where we say h1 the main page, like this. Now I'll copy all that code and put it into the other index.js file. I'll name this auth index page and of course therefore export this constant. And there I'll say the auth index page. Now let's save that and now let's execute one of the scripts we added, dev. Now if you run npm run dev, this will spin up a development server, building your application and server-side rendering it, also giving you stuff like hot reloading, so a really nice development environment. If you now go back to the browser, you can actually load this in a new tab under localhost 3000. There you should see your page. And if you now go to /auth, you see the auth index page. So without us setting up any routing, we can load these two different components as pages. And as I said, these components doesn't have to be functional components. They could be class-based components too.